The News Channel 5 Network and Out and About newspaper. This is Out and About Today. Sponsored by the Tennessee Performing Arts Center.
Hello, I'm Brent Meredith, and welcome to another edition of Out and About Today. On tonight's show, Chuck gives us a sneak peek at singer-songwriter Luke McMaster's upcoming Icons of Soul project in the Entertainment Outlook. Pam gets you an update from Tennessee Equality Project Executive Director Chris Sanders and their recent Equality Days on the Hill and how each of us can continue to help. But up first, I'm leading us in another exciting buzz about, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Chuck and Pam. Welcome, guys. Let's get rolling.
Let's go.
You excited?
There's a lot to talk about.
I need excitement. Let's see what you got.
Well, one of these topics was yours, so I hope that's considered exciting. We're not going to start with it, but we're going to end with it. First thing, though, Civil Rights Act protects LGBTQ workers. Just last month, SCOTUS said that it does, in fact, cover us. What was your reaction? Was this kind of a duh moment for you? Or because, I mean, the Trump administration actually filed a brief that said, no, it doesn't apply.
Well, to me, it's another blow to Trump, but is it really, going to, I mean, are they going to be able to uphold it? Is it going to really make a difference? I mean, it certainly seems like it's on the path to that.
Yeah. Well, and go ahead, Pam.
Well, I want to make sure we clarify. It was the U.S. Appeals Court, not SCOTUS, right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right.
Been.
Well, yeah.
You're right. I'm so sorry.
Well,
Yes.
and the reason I have to point this out is because this is how I measure how I feel about things. I read the comments. Okay?
Yeah. Right.
And then I always realize I'm on the right side of things, and the crazies are on the wrong side.
Right. And it's the second U.S. Court of Appeals. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
No, that's okay. So I do want to read some comments. There's some mean people. No, I'm not going to give them the time of day.
Yeah.
But there's mean people out there, and they vote for Trump.
A lot of them do, yeah.
Or connection or correlation or something.
Right, yeah. I totally agree. And but I think a lot of us even, a lot of folks don't realize that certain states have enacted protections, but there is no real protection, federal law, in other words, preventing LGBT people from being fired and because of their sexual orientation or identity.
That's right here.
I think only 5 states actually have something that protects, which that's very sad. Only 5 states.
But out of the 13 judges, it was a 10-3 decision, so pretty strong majority felt this way in the appeals process, right?
Right, that's right. And in the article it said the Supreme Court has decided there's been a couple cases they could choose to hear. They've decided not to.
And I'm sorry, that's where my mind was. They decided not to hear yet another appeal. So in other words, referring to the courts.
My question though is, what's it going to take for this to happen? What's the Supreme Court, what's it going to take for them to actually enact this so that we do have the protections, the discrimination protections? Because this has been going on, and I know it almost leads, I'm not trying to lead your segment,
but
but
you're fine.
It almost leads into, the question that we often ask is, outside of what's it going to take, but so many times we just don't feel like we have these rights, and we are not getting the same kind of protections that we thought. I mean, the negativity toward the LGBT community is growing, which is strange.
Well, it is, and in fact, that's the next topic that I wanted to roll into, because I wanted to go from this and into that. I mean, because again, the Civil Rights Act of '64 is what this was based off of, and I mean, the appeals court essentially said you can't separate sex and gender identity from from sexuality, which I find pretty much a no-brainer.
Right.
But then we roll into sort of the support for people are sort of support for us is suffering sort of a blowback, obviously, or honestly. Any obvious reasons why? I mean, I feel like we could probably sit here all day and talk about it. Pam, have you seen that personally though?
No, I live in a bubble, and I'm comfortable in my bubble, and I haven't. But we know when the top is not acknowledging us. When the top tweets anti-trans messaging, there's a trickle-down effect. There just is.
Oh, there always is.
People feel more comfortable when their president spews hate. They feel a lot more comfortable probably answering those poll questions. Now, I mean, I don't know if that's
well, and in addition to the poll questions, though, we've got murder rates up this year, among the community, more trans bathroom bills, adoption bill in Georgia, banning same-sex adoptions or trying to ban same-sex adoptions.
But wasn't there one nice stat that stayed the same, like 79% of people are okay with gay rights, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of things.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that it's now more or against than for. It's just this erosion, as for what you were saying. They feel more comfortable now. Maybe people spoke up. Maybe people answered the questions that didn't answer it before, because again they felt emboldened to say so. And we've lived through it. We lived through the Bush years where there was sort of a top-down negativity. Then we lived through the Obama years. And so now we're really, really seeing it now. This top-down, heavy-handed. We're second-class citizens.
But I think that's because we did see kind of the upside when Obama was in, and so that was a nice feel. And then suddenly, the people though that didn't like it during those years,
of course,
once we got him in the office, then suddenly it was just like, oh, now I'm really going to speak up, and I'm really going to speak out against you.
Sure, and of course, not only on that level, but then I think the politicians on the local level too, that we're seeing far more. The campaigns that are running for midterms are using a lot of this Trump language and a lot of Trump ideology, if you will, and the Republican Party has kind of become the party of Trump, and that's something that we've witnessed in just the last couple of years. I mean, that's and part of that platform is not accepting us, and right. The ones who continue to argue that it does kind of blow my mind.
And it still it amazes me when you see some of these campaign ads out. They just trumpet basically the and I know if you're Republican, you are going to trumpet the right side, but they go the far right, the far conservative. It just to me it's getting bolder and bolder and bolder, and I'm like, are we really that red of a state?
I think we've kind of
I mean, we are a red state.
Yeah, I know.
And Chris Sanders is going to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't want to steal any of that thunder. Let's go to your topic that I stole from last show. We don't have much time, so I'm going to go to. But Grownish, the show, sort of spin-off from Blackish, tackles biphobia in the LGBT community. I think we got a picture here. The cast will show you. But this is ABC's freeform Blackish spin-off. Grownish addresses biphobia within the community and called out the double standards for women and men who identify as bi. It says the moment in the show calls out how bisexual men are often portrayed as suspicious, just hiding what the bi now, gay later we've heard before. And this is interesting to me, Pam. You had this quote from James Grady from Out and About Nashville. So the other piece of the feedback that struck him was the really short editorial that he had was kind of an afterthought, in that the piece he talked about his own identification as evolving. After that piece, he received a lot of letters thanking him for his courage for talking about having had those thoughts and feelings before. So all that said, we've talked about bees in the community. Did you all identify as a bee or no bees before you came out? Or were you,
no,
were
I
you
didn't.
bi now,
I
gay
truly
later?
didn't. I would have had I been a teenager and come out then. I would have. She's just trying to get this controversy.
I followed that path.
Option, you would have said.
Yeah, well, I followed that path because it was an easier path to follow. You're like, what about you?
And there's stereotypes have some real truth in them. We all know bees that are now the other thing.
Yeah. Well, we're out of time. I want to come back and talk about this again. I know. We'll be right back with a look at singer-songwriter Luke McMaster's upcoming Icons of Soul project in the Entertainment Outlook. Stay with us.